Well, we're jump-starting your week with a little bit of history, or should I say herstory.
Jackie Kostek is live at the Elmhurst History Museum in the western suburbs to teach us about women who shaped Chicagoland. I can't wait to hear all about this, Jackie.
Ladies, good morning to you. Well, I'll tell you, as soon as I walked into the exhibit, the first thing that I saw were a pair of Oprah Winfrey shoes. So we'll show those off a little bit later this morning, but we're starting where most folks will begin in the exhibit. Yes, it is called Story of Her, Women Who Shaped Chicago. So I am here with Sarah Cox this morning, the curator of exhibits for the Elmhurst History Museum. Good morning to you, Sarah.
Good morning.
Well, thank you so much for having us, especially just 2 days after the 4th of July when America celebrated its 250th birthday. And that's part of why you wanted to bring this exhibit here now. Why?
Exactly. So the original idea was that we knew there's going to be a lot of exhibits talking about the men who were involved in our journey to become America, right, over the past 250 years. But women were there too. They were right at their side. If you think men went into the Revolutionary War without women by their side, you know, who was being the nurse, the cook, the laundress? They were there. So I really just wanted to pick a group of women, and mind you, it's just a drop in the bucket. We feature 76 women, organizations, teams, and these are all women who made a significant impact in Chicago. They could have been born here, they could have moved here. So it was really tough to make choices, but I feel like each story was really unique and interesting, and that our audience would really enjoy it.
100%. Something that is also very interesting is this was actually a wedding dress from way back in the day. So women wore not white dresses before the 1940s, right? Whose dress was that?
Exactly. So this is a dress from our collection. This was from the department store Schlesinger & Mayer. This is one of the first department stores, much before the Field, Marshall Fields and Carson Perry Scott. But women used to wear really dark color, typically black wedding dresses. It's not until the 1940s, when women are coming back from serving in Europe, that we start to get white or cream wedding dresses. So we thought this was a really unique piece. The legend behind it is that the sister-in-law of Potter Palmer, this was her wedding dress. So we thought we would feature it in the exhibit, since we do talk about a number of Gilded Age women in the exhibit.
Let's take a little bit of a walk around and just show off some of the other sort of themes of the exhibit. As we go up throughout the morning, we'll tell you about some of the really special women who did shape Chicagoland. Sarah, thank you so much for your time this morning. Can't wait for that. And actually, next hour, ladies, we're going to give you a little bit more information about the history of the Girl Scouts and their importance in Chicago's history. We'll see you right after the break. Ladies, back to you.
All right, Jackie, I love it. Shining a spotlight on the women who, you know, may help make Chicago. It's about time. Thank you.
Well, this morning we're shining a light on the women who shape Chicagoland. That's actually the name of a new exhibit on display right now at the Elmhurst History Museum. Jackie Kostek getting us started there right now with a look inside as we learn more about these women. Jackie.
Audrina, good morning to you. 76 women and groups are featured in this exhibit that started last month, and it runs through August 9th here at the Elmhurst History Museum. I'm here with Sarah Cox, the curator of the exhibits here. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the formatting of the exhibit itself. I think that a lot of people will notice sort of the tape marks and the different ways that you put together the features on these women and the groups. Why did you select that formatting in particular?
Absolutely. I mean, you kind of look at this and you're like, oh, this is kind of not a normal way to put together an exhibit. Well, what I was inspired by is I thought about when I was a young girl growing up, and many of us young women, we were cutting out clips in magazines, quotes we loved. We had pictures of family and friends, keepsakes from dances. And so I wanted to make it almost scrapbooky. So I have all these little vignettes to these groups of women in the exhibit. So I wanted to make it look a little scrapbooky.
Yes.
But also kind of what their walls might have looked like. What were they proud of? What were their greatest achievements? And what they wanted to remember.
Absolutely. You're looking right now at the Girl Scouts of America, which has a strong tie here in the city of Chicago. How so?
It does. So we talk about the Girl Scouts a lot in our education section, because this was a form of education outside the classroom. However, the founder of the Girl Scouts, Juliette Gordon Low, is the great-great-granddaughter of Chicago's early pioneer, Eleanor Kinsey. She was the first Kinsey here. Her son, John Harrison Kinsey, would go on to help establish Chicago as a city. And so we have that connection there. We know Juliette goes on to create the Girl Scouts. in the area, and I know a number of us, including myself, was a Girl Scout back in the day.
Of course, me too.
And a lot
Me
of our
too.
staff members here. So it was really important to talk about that, especially in the Education Center, because this was education outside the classroom. And also learning about the outdoors and nature and also sports as well.
For sure. And this is just a fun fact, but if you do come to the Elmhurst History Museum, you may meet one of the volunteers who's actually shown in this picture right now, which takes you back in time to the history of the Girl Scouts. But when you talk about the Kinsey family, that's actually the family, that's why we have Kinsey Street in Chicago, right?
It is, yeah. So she has a daughter-in-law, Juliette Kinsey, who goes on to write a book about her journey through Wisconsin into Chicago. And then her husband is the one who helps create Chicago as a city as well. And then a number of Kinseys are involved in the development of Chicago as the great city we know today.
Absolutely. Sarah Cox, thank you so much for your time this morning. Again, you can come here to the Elmhurst History Museum now through August 9th to check out this amazing exhibit. It's called History of Her, Women Who Shaped Chicagoland. We'll see you right after the break.
We are jump-starting your week with a little bit of history. Jackie Kostek is live at the Elmhurst History Museum in the western suburbs, obviously, to teach us about women who shaped Chicagoland. Jackie, I loved learning about the journalist in your last little hit there. I mean, history, fascinating.
It is so fascinating. Yes, we're here at the Elmhurst History Museum, and actually, I know you're going to find the next woman fascinating as well, because she actually worked at CBS Chicago back in the day, obviously. WBBM, Jeannie Morris was her name, so I'm here with Sarah Cox this morning, who is the curator of exhibits here at the Elmhurst History Museum. Who was Jeannie Morris?
Jeannie Morris is one of the many female journalists, sports journalists here in Chicago. She often worked with her husband on radio, on TV. As you noted, she was featured on CBS, NBC5, but she was known for reporting on the Chicago Bears. She famously, during one of the Bears games against the Vikings, women were not allowed in the press box. So Jeannie sat on top of the press box in the freezing cold and wrote her report about the Chicago Bears. But she goes on to have a great relationship with Bears player Brian Piccolo, writing a story about his journey. And that's what she's also become known for. But she joins a number of other women who kind of broke the glass ceiling for women here in Chicago to be a part of journalism here in the city.
That shows her determination, the fact that she was willing to sit outside in the snow and write about the Bears and Vikings game. Obviously, Virginia Hallis McCaskey is featured, the USA women's hockey team, the sky, and sort of the background, the history of women's basketball here in Chicago area. But let's come over to, obviously, the story of the Rockford Peaches and all of the baseball included in A League of Their Own.
Exactly. Everybody knows the movie League of Their Own, about the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League in Chicago, and that was very unique. This was a league that was developed during World War II. Many of the men who were playing for major leagues were off fighting the war, and so our own Mr. Wrigley here in Chicago, owner of the Cubs, developed a women's league. So we had a number of teams here that played within the Midwest. We even had our own player, Audrey Wagner, here, who played for the Kenosha Comets. But this was a fantastic league. Our own Audrey Wagner was only 16 when she joined.
Wow.
But all those things you see in the movie, them going to beauty school, the tryouts at Wrigley Field, all happened.
All happened. Okay, I love that. And then let's show off this uniform as well. Who wore this green uniform? And Dave, we'll have you kind of turn around to showcase what made her special too.
So this came from South Bend. This was worn by Isabella Lefty Alvarez. Lefty. A lot of these women had nicknames. She was Lefty Alvarez. She was a pitcher. This unique uniform, you can see it's been repaired a number of times, but her skirt has been tucked in and tailored in so that she could pitch left-handed. She was one of 7 Cuban players in the All-American Girls Baseball League.
You got to make the uniform work for you, right?
Exactly.
Sarah, thank you so much for your time this morning. Dana, I will mention here at the Elmhurst History Museum, after this women's history exhibit moves out in early August, they're actually going to bring in a Bears exhibit as well. So we might have to come back for that, as they'll have a lot of artifacts and pieces of history that people may not know about, one of Chicago's favorite teams. Back to you.
All right, Jackie, thanks so much. And I remember Jeannie Morris. I used to watch her as a kid. She was quite a trailblazer. Thank you.
Welcome back this morning. We are jumpstarting your morning with a spotlight on women's history in the western suburbs.
The Elmhurst History Museum's new exhibit showcases how women have shaped the Chicago area. And our Jackie Kostek is live there now to show us some of the stories being highlighted in that exhibit. Hey, Jackie.
Ladies, good morning to you. We have moved into the arts and culture area of this exhibit, and we are showcasing the shoes of someone who I think contributed in a very significant way to Chicago culture for sure, and across the world as well. Oprah Winfrey. So Sarah Cox is joining us now, the curator of the exhibits here at the Elmhurst History Museum. Sarah, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I mean, it was actually sort of a challenge to get Oprah's shoes, but where did Oprah wear these, and why is she still so important to Chicago and the country?
Well, I mean, obviously she had her show here in Chicago for a very long time. That kind of put her on the map, and then after that it was her own network, Noah Magazine.
Yes.
But these shoes are really unique piece where people were wonderful to work with. These were the shoes that she wore on her first appearance on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
Huge.
So I think that story of almost like a pair of Cinderella shoes, but it's Oprah's shoes finally making it to the big stage.
Absolutely. Yeah, you think about that, it was well before she really made it.
Exactly.
I mean, it was just like the very beginning, which is cool.
She's still in Baltimore, eventually goes to the morning show here in Chicago, and then eventually has her own show here, which she becomes known for, and then goes on to do many wonderful things. So those shoes are just kind of like the fairy tale beginning of her story.
For sure. Someone else who you might recognize who has contributed in a different industry, the industry of architecture, Jeannie Gang.
Jeannie Gang, absolutely. I wanted to note a number of women who are part of architecture. Jeannie is one of our modern architects working here in Chicago. You might recognize her building, Aqua Tower. Her team was wonderful in sharing a number of photos, along with a video of how Aqua Tower came together. It's a very unique building in Chicago. I know they pointed out on the architecture tour a lot, but she was born here in Illinois in Belvedere, and then went to the University of Illinois Urbana, and eventually comes back here. She's one of the few women architects operating here out of Chicago.
Lovely. And going way back in time now to 1893 in the World's Columbian Exposition held here in Chicago, well documented. But there was a group of women who helped make some of the sculptures that were presented at that exposition, correct?
Absolutely. So there was an artist, Laredo Taft, who was working on some of his sculptures. He didn't have enough help. The fair itself was behind schedule, so he went to Daniel Burnham, who was organizing and managing the fair, and said, I need help. I need somebody to come and help me. And he said, hire anyone, even white rabbits, if they'll do the work. So he hired a group of young female artists out of the Art Institute of Chicago to help do a number of the sculptures for a building. These women went on to do fascinating projects. A number of them are featured in the U.S. Capitol, including fellow Chicagoan Frances Willard, who has a sculpture at the U.S. Capitol building.
I love the way that you presented this, Sarah, because a lot of the women who are featured are also featured or connected to other women within the exhibit. So that is a really awesome way that you did this. If you come check out this exhibit, it runs through August 9th here at the Elmhurst History Museum, and Sarah is also putting together an exhibit which will take its place after, focused on the Chicago Bears. So we can't wait to check that out in the fall. Ladies, back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Jackie.